In this video, we'll train TJBot to suggest a launch spot using the Converse node in Watson Conversation Service. In the Node-RED editor, drag an inject node from the palette onto the canvas. Double-click on the node and set the payload to the string value of "I'm hungry." Drag a Converse node from the palette onto the canvas. Double-click on the node to configure it. The Converse node uses a Watson Conversation Service. First, we need to get these credentials from IBM Bluemix before we can use the node. Click on the link icon next to the conversation heading. I'm already signed in to my IBM Bluemix account. Create your IBM Bluemix account at bluemix.net. Click on Create to create the Watson Conversation Service instance. Let's set up the conversation service to respond to this message. Click on the green button labeled Launch Tool. A sample workspace has been created to show an example of a cognitive card dashboard. However, we'll create a new workspace for the TJBot to use. In the box with dashed border, click on the Create button. Give the new workspace a name, TJBot. Click Create. The conversation tool has three tabs: Intents, Entities, and Dialogue. An intent is a goal or purpose of the user's input. You can list several ways that the question or statement might be entered to help your bot recognize the intent. Click Create New to create an intent. Enter the intent name fine_lunch. Give the examples: I'm hungry. Where should we go for lunch? What's for lunch? Click on the Entities tab. An entity is a portion of the user's input that you can use to provide a different response to a particular intent. Create an entity with a set of values that can be used to trigger different responses. Click Create New to create an entity. Enter the entity name, Cuisine. Enter the values, American, Chinese, Asian, Indian, Mexican. Click on the Dialog tab. A dialog uses intents, entities, and context from your application to return a response to each user's input. Create a dialog branch for each intent that you define. In each node or box, enter a condition based on the input, such as the name of an intent. Then enter the response that your bot should make when that condition is true. Click Create. The service adds two nodes, Welcome and Anything Else. In the node labeled Welcome, click on the menu and select Add Node below. This node will match the Fine Lunch intent. Enter a condition, #fine_lunch. Add a response condition, @cuisine: American. Enter a response, sandwich at cafe venue. Enter another response, roast beef at specialty sounds good today. Add one more response. You've got a couple of options at Focaccia, Market, and Bakery. The response variations are sequential. Click on Set to Random to randomize a response. Let's add another response condition. Click on Add Another Response. Enter the condition @cuisine: Asian. Enter a response, how about a noodle bowl at Noodle Me? Add another response, 5-spice chicken at Spice Kit. The response variations are sequential. Click Set to Random to randomize your responses. Let's add one more condition. Click Add Another Response. For this condition, set it to true. Enter a response, steak burrito at Chipotle. Don't forget the guac. Add another variation to this response. There are a ton of options at Julie's Kitchen. Let's test out the dialog. Click on the Ask Watson icon in the top right corner. Test the phrase, "I'm hungry." The Watson conversation service matches a fine lunch intent. A random response is chosen. Steak burrito at Chipotle? Don't forget the guac. Try another test. I'm hungry for American food. The fine lunch intent is recognized, as well as the cuisine, American. The Watson service returns the response, "You've got a couple of options at Focaccia, Market, and Bakery." We're finished training this workspace for now. Before we leave the tool, we need to copy the credentials for this workspace. Click on the deploy icon in the menu on the left. Click on the tab labeled Credentials. Copy the username, password, and workspace ID back into the fields in the Node-RED editor. Drag a debug node from the palette onto the canvas. Set the output property to message.response.object.output.text index 0. Connect the nodes together. Run the flow by clicking on the tab on the left side of the inject node. TJBot uses a Watson conversation service to analyze a phrase and returns a response in the debug window.